Several key Republican-led states, including Texas of all places, are in full revolt today over the expansion of a domestic spy program. Residents are showing their feelings by destroying a series of cameras, while critics continue to say that this police state-level surveillance is a violation of privacy and that officers continue to misuse the data those cameras have collected. If you care about the fundamental right to privacy in this country, or if you just worry that law enforcement is abusing its power for personal reasons, you need to see this. Americans want you to know this is not North Korea. Next on The David Reddish Show. Welcome, beautiful viewers. I am your host, again reminding you to subscribe to our channel. This story takes us jet-setting all over the United States, though we begin in Texas. Texas, like a number of red states, including Georgia and the Carolinas, has begun deploying a network of traffic cameras in key areas to capture images of license plates. Here's a little overview.
A license plate reading flock camera at Afton Oaks, clearly labeled. And those that aren't are getting different labels from skeptics.
Able to see
that same sentiment,
you effectively are able to track them wherever they go.
On full display this morning, as Harris County commissioners voted to renew the county's contract with Flock for just under $869,000.
It puts our county residents' lives at risk of mass surveillance, loss of privacy, personal data.
The Harris County Sheriff's Office says it now has access to 480 Flock cameras across its jurisdiction. The data, they stress, only accessible to authorized law enforcement personnel.
Straightforward, right? Not so fast. The defenders of the cameras claim they help make the public safer. Real-world realities intervene. Take a look at this mess in Georgia.
We have seen a string of alleged crimes involving officers with access to the Flock system. Just yesterday in Greene County, a deputy was arrested and fired. Investigators say Quenisha Goss accessed Flock data for personal reasons multiple times over the course of 3 months without law enforcement justification. A similar story in South Georgia. 5 Albany officers were arrested on Monday. You see their names listed there. The GBI says an internal audit found that the officers used the Flock system multiple times for non-law enforcement purposes. All of those officers have been fired.
So, officers are using the cameras for their own personal misdeeds. What do you suppose they are doing with all that data? Tracking the movements of their kids, their lovers, targeting personal enemies for possible legal entanglement? You see how easily this system could be abused. Moreover, Republican politicians have defended the implementation of the cameras, saying they can use them to track the movements of illegal immigrants or of women trying to travel over state borders to obtain abortions or other family planning means. So in other words, the cameras are only being used to selectively target certain people who are suspected of crimes. I don't suppose law enforcement would be so enthusiastic if Flock cameras caught, say, officers choking a man to death, or ICE agents executing Americans or foreign nationals. Oh wait, they would just tell us to deny our own eyes, right? Moving on. The good news in all of this is that Americans aren't taking to these cameras easily, and now angry citizens are letting law enforcement and politicians know exactly how they really feel. Take a look at this situation in Texas again.
In 2 different parts of Houston, the same scene, surveillance cameras lying on the ground. 2 near Memorial Park, 2 more near Washington Avenue and Westcott, all part of Flock Safety's automated license plate reader network used by Houston police and other law enforcement agencies. Houston police confirming an investigation into this. While the motive is unknown, the technology itself has drawn criticism in the past from people concerned about the data they're collecting.
What level of frustration have we encountered? Right.
Texas Southern University professor Howard Henderson, founding director of the Center for Justice Research, says the backlash reflects broader concerns over privacy and who ultimately has access to the information these cameras collect. Houston expanded its use of the technology through a multi-million-dollar agreement with Flock in 2022. In that contract, HPD describes the camera as an investigative tool, writing that, quote, all data from vehicles observed will be provided to HPD for further assessment enforcement in detecting vehicles wanted in suspicious or post-event investigations for law enforcement purposes. Just months ago, Harris County Commissioners voted to renew its contract through June 2027 at a cost of just under $869,000. The Harris County Sheriff's Office previously credited the cameras with helping recover stolen vehicles and locating 2 kidnapped children. But Henderson says there's growing public unease over surveillance technology and artificial intelligence.
Oh, and this is the tip of the iceberg, beautiful viewers. In researching this story, we turned up similar reports of citizens neutralizing cameras in Georgia, South Carolina, other areas of Texas, Virginia, and even California, and that's just from a basic search. Which begs 2 questions. Why spend the money on these cameras if citizens are so opposed to them? And more importantly, what is it about law enforcement that makes Americans distrust them with their data? And yes, dear viewers, that is the bigger question. Now, I'm not going to sit here and bash all law enforcement, which our country needs, nor, for that matter, will I say the law has been equally applied across all classes and peoples in the United States. We all know it has not. We could spend all day talking about police misconduct, especially when it comes to actions against minority communities. Fire hoses used against black folks peacefully protesting. Gay bars raided with mass arrests. But I contend something else has changed. A civilian force has become more and more militarized in the 21st century and taken our communities along with it. And that's a much bigger problem than simple cameras. This is not about law and order, no matter what Donald Trump says. It's about privacy. If Americans can't drive or walk down the street without their movements getting logged, or if we don't even have domain over our own bodies, does privacy even exist anymore? I'm sure you have thoughts, so share them in the comments. This is the David Reddish Show.